Hello and welcome along to our winning workout special. We're having a look at the contenders for the 2010 KrisFlyer International Sprint, and Craig's here to have a look at all the runners, and we've got some good interviews coming up.
Yes, Thursday morning we caught up with a few people down at the track. Another busy morning, very exciting week here in Singapore, and this is a very good race there, KrisFlyer International Sprint. We're all hoping Rocket Man can do the job for Singapore, but he came up with post position 6 at the draw earlier on today, Andrew. Probably not disastrous, but would have liked to have seen him draw closer to the fence.
Yeah, a bit closer would have been nicer, but it's a middle of line draw, and Robbie Frad's got the job here to pilot him around, and Robbie Frad's been doing all the work on Rocket Man, and they get on quite well together. Work's been good too, and he had a serious hit out earlier in the week on Tuesday, and just some light work since, and looks nice and fluent in his action, and nice and strong on the track, and looks in good order at the moment.
Yeah, he's just moving beautifully, isn't he, Rocket Man? And we didn't show it, but when he came out again, Andrew, up to his old tricks, he stood there literally probably for 5 to 10 minutes before he walked off at his own rate.
He likes to do that. He just likes to stand and have a look around when he comes onto the track. But once he gets going and mobile, he's all business and looking good. Under Robbie Frad, working very well at the moment, Rocket Man. Yeah,
he's an amazing racehorse. He's been second in 2 international Group 1s thus far, getting very close to his first success. Hopefully it's on Sunday evening for Singapore's sake.
Looking at Happy Zero now, and he's just come onto the track under Darren Beedman. And earlier this morning, Craig, you had to catch up with Happy Zero's trainer, John Moore. And all reports on Happy Zero very positive at the moment.
John, you saw him for the first time this morning since he's arrived. How's he look to you?
Well, he looks a picture of health, and you would have sworn that he's the sort of horse that's done a lot of travelling, a bit like Previs and those horses that do a lot of competing worldwide. But I'm thrilled. His work this morning was exceptional. Again, you've got to get used to the air here. There's not a lot of it, and a horse will pull up and have a good blow for a while. But Darren and I were very thrilled with his work, and we're going into the race with high hopes.
What about the direction of the track here opposite to Hong Kong? Is that any concern?
Well, every Monday in Hong Kong we work the opposite direction, and he works on that leg. And also back at Muskoka, where we break all our yearlings, or we send horses for spelling and so forth. I always stipulate to the management there that I want my horses or our horses to work on both legs. For that reason, I don't see Cranji being a problem. Darren did say this morning when he did gallop, he did take a while to change to his near 4 and couple upright, but as I said earlier, I don't see it as a problem.
Okay, so you're nice and happy going into the big race?
I am really happy going into the big race, and as I said to the Chinese press, we're going to keep Rocket Man honest.
He's a very good racehorse. He's come up with barrier position 9, Andrew, so he's second from the outside. Dare say they would have liked to have drawn a little bit closer as well.
Yeah, it's not a great barrier for him. Close to the rail would have been nicer for him to have his first go going left-handed, but Darren, give him a little bit of a slap down the shoulder just to try and keep him tractable in the home straight. Got a lovely nice action on him, very loose, and just changed strides there and starts to stretch out to the wire quite well. And Darren Beedman on board and working very nicely, Happy Zero. And after this, you'll be able to catch up with jockey Darren Beedman.
Darren, he seemed to work very nicely this morning.
He did. He's a little bit more relaxed here. At home, he gets on the steel, but here he's got a little bit more to look at and a little bit more relaxed, and just made him sort of think a little bit more.
His run in Hong Kong, his last run, you didn't ride him, of course, but the speed was just against him up there.
Exactly. It was pretty well much a mathematical impossibility to come from where he did. They went steady up front, and it was just a sprint home, so you had to give every other runner £5 in the race, and he hadn't raced for probably 8 weeks, so it was a pretty good run.
You know this race here, the KrisFlyer, they generally go fairly hard, so you'll be happy with that?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to Hong Kong style of racing on International Day, and he's in his previous races he's really come off a hot speed, and he loves it. The faster they go, the better finisher he's got, so fast speed in the race will be good.
You mentioned he's nice and relaxed, so he's happy going into the race?
He is. He's very relaxed, the horse. Normally gets a little bit wound up at home and sweats and he whips around and whatever, but he's really taken it all in his stride here. He seems to have settled in pretty well.
His reputation is pretty strong. You've ridden plenty of good horses. Is he amongst the best?
Yeah, no doubt he can run time. We tried to stretch him over a mile for international time, and it was probably just stretched him a little bit too much. Run against some of the best milers in the world, but he's got a humongous stride on him, and that's probably one of his greatest assets.
Darren Beedman on Happy Zero. We move on to Joy and Fun, and this guy's been ticking over nicely since arriving here in Singapore, and another nice little bit of exercise for him on Thursday morning.
Yeah, just nice light exercise, Craig. I'm not out to do too much on Thursday morning. Joy and Fun, and he's a very fit racehorse, and if he can bring his good international form from winning in Dubai here to Singapore, I think he must be respected here, Joy and Fun. He's a big tough horse too, and had plenty of work since arriving. Looks in great condition. Joy and
Fun's drawn in 4. Green Birdie's drawn the coveted rails. So, he's a horse that needs everything to go right, and he gets a chance from there, I guess.
Yeah, the rails draw is always a plus, especially for the horses coming from Hong Kong, coming here racing the opposite direction, going left-handed. Since he's been here, just had pretty much just light exercise on the training track. Gets a little bit warm in his morning workouts, but looks nice and relaxed and doing it quite well.
Yeah, the Connections have elected to go for Mark Duplessis as the rider. He was a champion rider here in Singapore a few years ago, so obviously he knows his way around. Let's move on and have a look at Mariel, the French horse. Form doesn't look outstanding, and the barrier draw certainly isn't outstanding. Barrier 8.
Yeah, and on his work day, Craig, I think he's a nice horse. What I've seen of him in his morning gallops, he's got a nice fluent galloping action, got a real nice stride like a sprinter. He moves very fluently on the polytrack surface. We're not racing on the polytrack surface, we're racing on the turf, but you can't fault his work. He needs to probably step it up a little bit under race conditions, but seems to be moving quite well.
Yeah, nice low action there for Mariel. Comes here to Singapore from France, a 7-year-old. And let's hope he runs a decent race for Connections. I'm sure he will. Here's Gold Trail, Olivia Placé aboard, and Gary Patelli gets his first look at him this morning.
Yeah, and Gary Patelli keeping an eye on Gold Trail in the background, and he's nice healthy look about him too. Gold Trail seems to have settled into Singapore without any problems at all, looking quite well, and you were able to catch up with the trainer.
Gary, you arrived yesterday. How's he look to you this morning?
Very happy with him this morning, Craig. Yeah, I was really pleased with him. The strapper had said that he only lost a kilo or so on the flight, and he's actually got back to his winning weight pretty quickly, so looks good in the coat, nice and round, and very relaxed.
Looks to have had quite a bit of work since getting here. I think he had 2 or 3 rounds of the poly this morning. Is everything done now? Yeah,
we can't do any more. He came over fairly fit, had a good strong trial at Warwick Farm before he left, and then he had a trip to Melbourne on top of that to get the plane up here. So he's had a bit of a tough time over the last couple of weeks. So basically his work's been a couple of laps around the track, a little bit of 3/4 at the end of the, over half a mile, and just quickening up down the straight just to keep him in order. And he's that relaxed. The jockey, Olivia Placé, he's been riding Trackwork for me, and he said that he doesn't feel like a sprinter. He said he's too relaxed, and that's been a trait of the horse, and that's why he's been lucky enough to travel.
Yeah, well, he has travelled before, not as far as this, of course, New Zealand, and Group 1 winner there, so you're expecting him to go well on the weekend?
Yeah, this is a huge step up in grade, though. We know what we're up against. It's going to be a tough race, and but it's just been an honour to be part of it all, and hopefully he doesn't let us down, and we finish amongst them somewhere.
He's come up with barrier position 2. He's a speed horse, so good luck to the Connections of the galloper. This is Eagle Falls. He'll come out of post position 3, so he's another one that's been well served at the barrier draw this morning.
Yeah, and he's just having a nice steady piece of work this morning on the training track. He had more of a serious hit out the day before on Wednesday, and his work was very good on Wednesday morning, but just on his slow work seems to be going quite okay, in good order. Anyway, there's a good look at all the contenders for the KrisFlyer Sprint.